Gotten a lot of new equipment, have changed some of my techniques, and I thought it would be a good time before I pull all this stuff down from my latest recording to give you an update. Here we have, it's a little crooked right now, but AKG 414 BULS from the 80s, figure 8, no pad. So it's just hanging out in the doorway. So it gets the front and the back sound and it rejects the sides. And out there in the hallway, we have a PZM and it gets this great reverb from this awesome, huge hallway we have here. You can hear the echo, reverb in there, natural reverb. And we're going back in here. You can hear it's a little bit deadened. Carpet on the floor. It goes up pretty far. It goes up about 20 feet, 30 feet long. We watch some TV, listen to some tunes, record some drums, go to sleep. Next thing we'll show you, D112 in the bass drum. Halfway in, halfway out, 28-inch Slearland. It's a big drum, and it goes boom. Got some other drums up there in case I need some other types of drums for different projects. I got a medium-sized and a smaller sized one. There's no dampening on the front. And outside of the bass drum, about a foot, is a Neumann U87, pre-1986, so it's a vintage one. Not putting any pads or anything on it. I tilt it down a little bit. It gets the big boom outside resonance of the bass drum. It's awesome. On the snare drum, on the top is a Shure Unidyne, so this is like an old one, made in the USA. 545 SD Unidyne. It's like an old Shure 57. They sound a little better. Below that, AKG C12A, which is very pretty and warm. It's a tube mic. Some people think it's the best sounding snare drum mic ever made. And on the bottom, I have another USA-made Shure Unidyne 3. That's how I do my snare drum. And then I guess we'll move to toms. These toms are Radio King from 1949. And they have these cool thin brass hoops on them. Gorgeous. And this one just has clips. This one has a newer, more modern rim, but this is also brass and it says Radio King on it. It's engraved Radio King on them. It's really cool. Oh, there's one you can see the Radio King is engraved in there. You don't get that quality anymore on drums. I don't know anyone who's currently engraving their rims and making them out of brass. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if there is, put it in the comments because I want them. Look at how worn that is. And I have them mounted on the old rims from the 90s. To mic them, I'm using, same as the one over on the door over there, an AKG 414 BULS. This one I have to put on the 10 dB pad so that it doesn't overload being this close. Same with this one, coated ambassadors. And I put this little gummy things on them. Yeah, so these are awesome. I love this. And you get different sizes to choose from. I think they're perfect. I use one on the snare drum, a little guy there, little guy there. Another brand, it's Moon Gel. That's what it looks like after it's been used. This head needs to be changed, but once this is seated on the floor tom, because they're such old drums, they're not exactly a perfect fit for the new heads. You actually have to tune these a little bit higher so that they all seat, which means connect from the head and to the wood underneath than newer drums. Look at the inside of this beautiful drum with these awesome, amazing felt mufflers. I mean, look at the detail. Even the washers are engraved. On the floor tom, I'm using 421 set on the music setting. It's a reissue Speed King. Works great. Istanbul's, like before Zildjian came to America. Beautiful. Thin crash, 16-inch. I like the old cymbals better than the new cymbals. God, I like everything old better than new. I mean, that's probably my favorite mic. That's 1968. Zildjian from the 90s. This is a custom dark crash 16-inch, 22-inch deep ride Zildjian. I use that on all the records, the big records, everything. This has been a staple since I got it when I was 12. I think that was the first cymbal I ever got. First real cymbal I ever got. And I used to polish that thing like every week. Now I don't polish cymbals anymore. So I have two sets of overheads. I have Glyn Johns pre-1986 vintage G87 in cardioid with no pads. I have one up here over the snare. Then I have the older 412s with the brass capsules up here. Those are gorgeous. They like cymbals. They like everything. Those are 54 inches from the snare, both equidistant. So you have to put that one down a little bit lower over there because it's farther away from the snare. Because you want the snare to hit both mics at the same time so that they're in phase. And you can Google that. That's it, right? A snake. And then they go downstairs, down the hallway, where Bella is. And Bella needs to wear her bark collar when I'm recording. And sometimes I take this off too. This is very loud. And Coco is also down here waiting for his food.
Making some pancakes.
Ethan, my son, is making some pancakes. Cords go down here into the back of this beautiful wood rack made by Sanctus Sound. Beautiful. Go into the mic preamp. The mic preamps are Snare Drum John Hardy M1, copies of API, classic API stuff. I run them hot, high gain, 414 going into the third channel. Ooh, this is warm. Hot to the touch. The transformers are buzzing. The PZM goes into that channel. The 412s, the space pair overheads go into these two channels. These are original Neve 1272 line amp converted to preamps from 70s Neve. The bass drum in mic, BAE 1073 MP. That is a copy of that, basically. It's the mic preamp part of a 1073. The Neumann U87 goes into the other channel. So the first tom goes into this, second tom, floor tom. It's Melcore, which is pre-API. Melcore with the 1731 op amps in them. Early APIs, before API Melcores. I've got my C12A from the snare drum in the fourth channel, and then down here, I've got the U87s in the Glyn Johns setup going into these two. These are Calrec PQ 1031. They're basically the same as a Neve 3114 through 3115 Class A B. Great EQs. They made stuff for the BBC as when Neve couldn't catch up, and they're basically the same, but a third of the cost. U87s are going into the 1178 Yuri compressor, classic compressor. It has a certain beautiful, awesome, crunchy sound, and then into the computer. I put a DBX 160 on the snare drum. I don't do much before I send the drums out. On the bass drum inside, the Puig Tech, I just boost 60, cut the same frequency. It's a Pultec EQ trick. I guess it's not a trick, they designed it that way, but it sounds beautiful. I'm also boosting a bit of 5K. Yeah, this is just to make it sound a little bit nicer before I send it to clients. Kick out, a boost on 110 on this copy of a 1073, and I've got some high boosted set at 12K. On the floor tom, I do boost a little bit of 100, 3 dB of 8. On the room mic in the doorway, I put an 1176, an attack here, quick release, buttons all in, which is basically doing this. You have to do it all at once. All at once. There we go. All in, which wasn't designed to do that, but somebody found out it sounds awesome. On the plugin, you just push the all button. Hallway PZM, I have a copy of a Compex, and then I compress it a little bit on an SSL bus compressor. Ooh, let me get the door for my beautiful wife.
Stop.
You look beautiful. Oh, you're 4K too, so you look extra beautiful. All right, let me just finish this up. I send them to 2 channels and put the bus compressor on them. Very slow attack, fast release. And I also send everything to a Crush parallel compressor. It's a copy of a Fairchild 670 Prechild, and I mix that in with the dry signal. Send it off to my very, very, very happy clients. And it sounds something like this.